Today's session is mainly for the future of job reports because it was not in the agenda when I originally designed the program. It was only supposed to be the career strategy sessions in 3 sessions. And just 3 days ago, we heard that World Economic Forum issued the Future of Job Reports 2020. Now that was very important because so far this year, we have been observing and experiencing all the COVID-19 consequences, and we see a lot of job losses and the economic crisis, but there was not yet any authentic information available. So this reports from the World Economic Forum really provides a very substantial evidence based on the solid research that what are the situation of the different businesses, economies, and the people in general, and what is going to happen in the near future. So I thought that this is very pertinent to include that discussion in this session today. So I have included, it's very much aligned with what we are going to discuss today. So I hope that most of you attended the first session last week, same time. And this is the second session in series of those 3 sessions. And what we covered last time, basically, we looked at the overall situation, what has happened because of COVID-19 so far. We looked at the major business trends impacting the business models, new trends impacting the way we work, talent demand and supply situation. And today, what we are going to discuss, today's second session, creating your career strategy. So once we go through 2 parts of this session today, first we go through the key findings of the Future of Job Reports 2020 from World Economic Forum. Then I would take you through what strategies or the tactics you need to apply to take your career forward. And we'll have the third session also next week, same time. And in the third session, I'll try to focus more on your execution part of the strategy. So like career options, job market looks like very tough. How do you deal with that? Job search strategy, hidden job market, those type of issues which you will face during the execution of your career strategy. So let's talk about the key findings of the Future of Job Reports 2020, which is only issued 3 days ago. This is related to the jobs which are expected to launch. By the way, the time frame they have identified for this study is between now and 2025, 5 years period. So according to their research, they're expecting that 85 million jobs would be lost. That's a bad news. The good news is that during the same period, 97 million jobs would be created, new jobs. But look at the job categories here. I hope you can see that. The jobs being lost are data entry clerks, administrative and executive secretaries, accounting, bookkeeping. By the way, accountants and auditors, this is the third time they have shown up in this category. And at the junior level, accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll clerks, and at the mid and senior level, accountants and auditors, mechanics and machinery repairs, and material recording and stock keeping. So these are the type of the jobs. As you can see that these are pretty junior level of jobs. What are the jobs being created? Look at the nature of those jobs. So data analysis, scientists, AI and machine learning specialist, big data specialist, digital marketing and strategy specialist, process automation specialist, business development professionals, digital transformation specialist, information security analyst, software and application developer, and Internet of Things specialist. So think of this nature of these jobs. They are quite technical, mainly technology oriented. So in a big picture, you can see that yes, 85 million jobs are being lost, 97 being created. So there will be more jobs. But unfortunately, those people who are losing jobs may not be able to fit into those new roles. Or even if they are able to fit, they have to go through a very serious level of training and upskill. Only then they would be able to accommodate those jobs. What report also mentions that unfortunately another bad news is that this year and the next couple of years, we are expected to lose jobs faster than the new jobs being created. So the rate of job destruction is faster than the rate of job creation, which means that for some period of time, even if the numbers matches, there would not be any jobs available for the people who are losing jobs. So overall scenario is quite bleak. We have been talking about job disruption for a few years. Now, here is the job disruption. And it's not only a job disruption, it's a career disruption, because millions of people will have to change their careers because they may not be able to find in the same profession another job which they have been doing. As you look at the nature of the jobs which is being eliminated, those jobs would not exist anymore. So they have to really go through a job disruption, which means that they spend time learning new skills, reskilling, upskilling themselves, and then prepare themselves to do the new job. So it's quite challenging in situation as explained by the future of job reports. Let's look at these job categories a little closely. So this sheet which you are looking is a little detailed with 20 categories. And let's look at the jobs which are going to decline. So for our interest, as I know that most of the attendees here are from finance function. So number 3, accounting, bookkeeping, and payroll clerks, junior level jobs. Then number 4, accountants and auditors. But also notice number 11, financial analysts. So this has not been showed up before as the risk category where the jobs will be lost, but this time this is there as number 11th. And if you look at number 18, human resources specialist, that's another category we didn't think that it has the risk of losing, but that is also there. On the new job emerging categories, there are also 20 categories. And of course, as we just discussed, that they are mainly technology oriented. But look, there are some general categories as well. So number 11, project manager. Number 12, business services and administration manager. Number 15 is strategic advisors. That's a pretty senior level role. Number 16, management and organization analysts. And number 19, organizational development specialist. And number 20, risk management specialist. So there are many categories, because the big question right now is that all the people who are losing these jobs and they have certain background and specialization, how they will fit into these new jobs. So you could see some relationship, not much. A lot of people have to learn a lot of new skills, but some people could really upgrade themselves or repolish or make some adjustments and fit into some new categories. So that's the overall situation regarding the roles or jobs is. Some general trends, as the report has highlighted, this is actually happening 2020. Number 1, which we are all observing, businesses are accelerating to scale remote work. So all businesses or most businesses have really relocated many of their workers who are working remotely, and it's working very well. It's working fine. So this trend is going to stay for long. Number 2, they are also accelerating digitalization of their operations and their business, 84%. And also they are accelerating automation. Now these 3 major trends are causing big changes. Here are the details in this slide. So number 1 trend is that businesses are really creating digital transformation of their business. And number 2 trend is provide more opportunities to work remotely. So these 2 trends are the mega trends which are working very well, and they're going to establish and stay for long. Acceleration of automation. Now these things, not only they are creating a different situation for the workers, but also the main pressure for the businesses is the cost reduction. And cost reduction, the automation is one of the readily available solution. When they make automation, that's may result in a reduction of cost, as well as less people are required to do those jobs. So that is the report also called the double disruption, that not only is the COVID-19 situation that you are losing jobs, but because of the automation or the digitalization the companies are doing, that's also triggering more job losses. This slide shows you the expected changes to the workforce, what they are doing, the companies are doing. The companies are very quickly and rapidly changing the way they do business. So they're changing their value chain. which means the changes in the business model, reduce current workers due to technological integration of the automation. They don't need that many people, and expand use of contractors during doing task specialized work. So there is an estimate somewhere in the report which says that 32% of the companies are converting their permanent employees into the contingent workers or contract workers, as you call them, which means that they will be doing some work maybe at a lower rate than what they were earning, and it's temporary of nature, which means that if there is work, they will work. If there is no work, they would be out of work. Broad picture about the human and machines. So that ratio is changing very fast. This year, the ratio is that for any average work we perform, 2/3 is the contribution from human and 1/3 is from the machine, 67-33. By 2025, in 5 years, that ratio would change to 50-50, close to half. Half would be contributed by machine, half would be contributed by human. That's a big change, and this will continue to increase in favor of machines going forward. This slide shows you, this is actually from McKinsey. And this slide shows you certain categories. If you look at the 5 columns, starting from the right side, technological skills, social and emotional skills, higher cognitive skills, basic cognitive, and physical and manual. So what it shows that technological skills are in most demand. The projection here is from 2016 to 2030. During that period, they expect there would be 55 billion hours more required for technical skills. 24 billion more hours would be required for social and emotional skills. This is leadership stuff. And higher cognitive, 8 billion more. But on the physical and manual tasks and basic cognitive, like secretaries, like administrative clerks, they are going to decline in terms of the hours requirement. So that also very clear trend shown here. And this slide is from McKinsey as well. So this was about the jobs and roles. Let's talk about the skills, because what is happening, that it is not really clear what's going to happen for jobs in future, because the nature of the technology, nature of the operation, business models are changing. We don't know with clarity what roles would exist and what role will not. But we have clearer picture about the skills, what skills are required going forward. So here are the top 10 skills in 2025, according to this report. So starting with analytical thinking and innovation, active learning, complex problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, originality, and initiative. So focus here. These are all quite soft skills. They are soft skills. And leadership and social influence, technology use, monitoring and control, technology design. So there are some technology related skills as well. Resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility. This is a very personal level skill. And finally, reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. So out of 10 top skills, 8 are soft skills, which I would categorize as the leadership skills, and 2 are the technological skills. So we'll talk more about that later in a minute. A little detailed picture of these skills. So here you see the top 15 skills for 2025. So after 10 skills, 11 emotional intelligence, 12 troubleshooting, 13 service orientation, 14 system analysis, and 15 again persuasion and negotiation, soft skills. So what does it mean? Do we need to learn all these skills, or do we already know them? Do we already know problem solving, critical thinking, analysis? We have been doing this thing, right? I'll elaborate in a moment what does it mean for us. Just stay with me. So these were mainly the soft skills, which I call leadership skills. And here you see the technologies, which are very, very fast penetrating into the business. So in this list, this is by the adoption of which technology is on the top. So on the top is cloud computing, big data analytics, Internet of Things, encryption, artificial intelligence, etc., etc. You can see the trend, right? All these are part of the emerging technologies which are being implemented by businesses very fast. So on the one hand, we see that technologies are being implemented in businesses. On the other hand, the top requirement for top skills is mainly on the soft skill side, mainly. This chart shows you the perceived barriers to the adoption of new technology. So although businesses are adopting technologies, but there are many challenges. And one of the main challenge on the top is skills gap in local labor market. So companies or businesses are complaining that they are not able to find the right talent, right people, right? So that's the very strange nature of the job market. On the one hand, millions and millions of people are losing jobs and they are searching for jobs, they are seeking for jobs. On the other hand, employers are complaining that they are not able to find the right talent, right? That's the unique nature of the job market being created right now, and it will continue to expand like that. This chart shows you the perceived skills and skill groups with growing demand by 2025. So it's a little bit more broader categorization. Again, notice the nature of these skills: critical thinking and analysis, problem solving, self-management, working with people, management and communication of activities. I call them leadership skills. And there is very little about the technology use and development, but mostly the soft skills in demand by 2025. This is an analysis by McKinsey again. What McKinsey is showing here is the priority by the employers. Leaders say they anticipate spending less on permanent hiring, which means that millions and millions of people are losing jobs. Companies are not rehiring. Their top priority is workforce planning, strategy, and change. So they are trying to develop the internal workforce, but they are not trying to hire from outside. So their priority is workforce planning, strategy, and change. Their focus is engaging and connecting, reorganizing and rewarding, learning and development. So you could see the blue bar on the top. And for recruitment and onboarding, very little percentage, which means that if you are employed right now, your best bet is to keep your employment as much as possible, because once you lose that job and you're in the job market, you are basically in the red ocean. It would be very difficult to get back because employers are not hiring at that time. And the other thing is that if you lose the job, probably there is a more reason that your skills are not updated according to the market requirement. So best bet is that if you are employed, then try to upskill yourself, reskill yourself based on the requirement. So your current employer really value you more. So this is the quote from Gartner. Gartner is another leading technology firm. They say 32% of organizations are replacing full-time employees with contingent workers as a cost-saving measure, Gartner. So of course, every company, every business is looking for cost cutting, and 32%, that's every 1 out of 3. That's a big number. And all this with contingent worker means the temporary jobs. There may be some work, there may not be some work. So that's an overall situation based on the future of job reports. So let's discuss the remedies, what we can do about it. So of course, situation is very challenging, but sitting just idle and doing nothing is also not a wise strategy. So let's try to understand where we are and what we can do. So what are your chances? You don't need to give me an answer, just make some assessment yourself. What are your chances that in post-COVID, let's say that if we assume that the peak of the crisis is gone, we are recovering now, that this is the start of post-COVID era. What are your chances that everything is as usual and your job is as usual and you don't see any difference from a job point of view, right? What are the chances that it would remain like that? Number one. Number two, assume that you still have job, but you are asked to work remotely or part-time with a pay cut. That's already happening with 1/3 of the employees, 1/3 of the organization, right? So pretty probable. Number three scenario, Your job is converted into a contract or temp job with pay cut. Very probable again. Number 4, your job is eliminated, but you are offered to work as an independent contractor, which means that they are willing to give you some work, but there is no guarantee. And finally, your job is just eliminated. You are just fired, which has already happened with millions of workers, right? I would say that if you have to do some self-rating, most people would overrate themselves on the number 1, that my job is stable, my job is safe, my employer really value me, I'm creating value for the company, they cannot fire me, right? That would be the number 1 response for most people. Number 5, hardly anybody would say, hardly, that my job would be eliminated or I could be fired. Reality is that actually the people who are fired, they thought the same way, that they are valuable for their employers. They thought that their job is safe. So we tend to, as an employee, we tend to make an error by overrating ourselves in number 1 and underrating ourselves in number 5, which means that reality is somewhere in the middle. We need to be prepared. I hope that everybody keep their job safe, but we need to be prepared for anything could happen. Now, in today's time, it's not your fault. It's not about your performance. It's just a matter of luck that you're in the right place, right time or not. If you look back into the human history, crises always provide opportunity, big change. There are biographies of many leaders. They have gone through personal crisis, and from that crisis, they become a bigger leader. Steve Jobs, in his own words, said that the best thing that happened in his life was that he was fired from his own company. That was the best thing that happened to him. So look from that point of view, is this crisis is really a tragedy or is it an opportunity? You could define it. What do you think yourself? How do you set up your mindset? That really matters a lot other than anything else. So what to do now? Number 1, first press the reset button. Reset button for everything, as if you are starting a fresh career. Fresh mindset, very important. Don't look back what you are earning, what you are doing, what promotion you had, what you did not, because the world is resetting. The whole world is resetting. So we also need to be aligned with world. Number 2, it's not about your job. Even if you remain in the same job, even if you remain in the same career, you are anyway starting a new career. It's a new world. It's a new rules, new business models, new talent requirement, new skills. Everything is new. So that's a mindset you need to develop. Don't think that you lost job or you have a junior position or a senior position. Nothing like that. It's just a restart for every one of us. And with this risky situation, try to prepare a contingency plan, because your families are very important. So whatever you could do within your resources, that means try to make a contingency plan on the worst scenario basis. If this happens, what will I do? Mainly from the financial point of view. And prepare to relaunch your career. It would be different for different people based on where you are, what have you been doing, what is your current skill set, how compatible you are with the market, and what is your potential and capacity and capability to do in future, what you could do, how could you prepare for future. And very important, set up your inner game, which means create a mindset. There is a saying that anything which happens to you in terms of the successes and failures, 90% is because of your mindset. All failures and successes in life you achieve, 90% you are responsible for it, 10% external. Now, you could question the percentages. If you cannot digest 90%, let's say 80%, 70%, even 50-50, pretty big number. The message here is that you could really determine, decide, engineer your own fate. So let's work on that first. Last time I talked about the red ocean and blue ocean. And the analogy is that as more and more people are losing jobs, and this will continue for a couple of years, as more and more people are losing jobs, mostly they are the ones who do not have the current skill, updated skills according to the current market. And once they lose the job, they immediately try to get back to the job. So they immediately become job seekers and do not generally focus on really recovering from the skill deficit. So more and more people are coming into that pool, and that has become a red ocean. Analogy is the red ocean. There are a lot of sharks and there are a lot of people, and they're trying to survive, and not many of them are succeeding. Compared to the red ocean, there is a blue ocean of job market as well. Blue ocean of job market is those positions where employers are searching talent and they are not able to find. There are not many candidates in the blue ocean, but those few candidates are very, very talented, high in demand. There's candidates market. Candidates dictate their terms. Employers are not able to find them or get them easily. But there are few. There are many roles are coming up in the blue ocean, but there are not many people who could fit that job. That's a blue ocean. Question for you is that where do you see yourself? Are you in the blue ocean or red ocean? Or if you see yourself in the red ocean, can you make a move to the blue ocean? It will take some time. It will take some effort. It will take a lot of energy and planning, but it is possible, right? Because blue ocean is the place where jobs will grow. You already see that employers are complaining, not finding the people, and that is where the more jobs will come. Now, another very important or major trend happening in the job market, with the current crisis, employers are becoming conscious. Employers are, I would say, businesses. Businesses learn a lot and very fast, very rapidly, because they have to survive and grow and be profitable. It is very clear that any crisis, people really matter a lot, more than anything else. Capital, technology, machines, people matter a lot, and quality of people. So businesses are realizing that they don't need to hire all those people they were keeping before. They need few people but highly talented. Few people but highly talented, and for those highly talented people, they are willing to pay a high price. That's very clear trend. So what is happening in these layoffs? They are also laying off people who are just mediocre, who are just average. And employers are anticipating that they would be able to bring more talented people into those roles. So I call them replacement positions. People are losing jobs. Now the surface look like that these are the jobs eliminated. They don't have work for them. But behind the scenes, many jobs are basically replacement jobs. Employer has an intention to replace those people with highly talented people. So keep this analogy in your mind and try to make an assessment whether you're in the red ocean and blue ocean, and then make a strategy. I'll help you with that. Make a strategy. How do you move yourself from the red ocean to blue ocean as fast as you can? So this is from the report. They said that 50% of all employees will need reskilling by 2025. 50%. Half of the workforce, global workforce, need reskilling based on the new scenario. That's a big number. And 40% of the skills which are today, which looks relevant today, they would be obsolete in 5 years. 40% of current workers' core skills would have to be replaced or upskill in 5 years. That's a big number. Now, what is your strategy? If you believe these numbers are right, probably you are one of them who has to upskill and reskill, right? How would you do that? Now, in many cases, employers would do that, which means that the leftover people, if they are not up to the mark, they would really provide training. But when will they provide training? We don't know. And employers are not loyal to employees anymore. So what are you waiting for? Whether you are employed or unemployed or in transition, this is the time to jump start on your reskilling and upskilling. Jump start so that you could really, even if you are not in the job market, at least you become a viable candidate for the blue ocean job market if something happens with you. Let me explain the skills part. As I said, that it looks weird that a lot of businesses are moving into the digital transformation, and this report is only talking about the soft skills, leadership skills. So what are we missing here? So let's look at these definitions. What is hard skill and what is soft skills? Hard skills are learnable skills which we usually cover or learn in the early part of life. physics, chemistry, accounting, degrees, languages, typing techniques, machine operation. I would say that even technologies fit into the hard skill. Technologies, cloud computing, blockchain, artificial intelligence, they are part of the hard skill. Soft skills are again like soft skills, leadership skills, communication, flexibility, self-discipline, teamwork, time management, empathy, communication, etc., right? So these are the two sets of skills. Now, there's a big difference in the two type of skills. Very carefully, you need to understand. Hard skills are easier to learn. When we are in the school, college, universities, we are basically learning hard skills. And very quickly, we are learning. It's all logical. That's part of our left brain. We use left brain. This is all very logical, and we learn very quickly. Even today, even if you are in middle age, and you need to learn how an equipment work or how your appliance you have bought, you go through instruction and you learn very quickly because that is a hard skill. Soft skills are habits, and habits takes time to create or change or form. Communication, teamwork, time management, emotional intelligence, empathy, these are all habits. These are all leadership habits. Leadership is all about habits, leadership habits. You cannot read a book and develop habits. You could learn some science, but you need to practice a lot. So soft skills takes longer period of time. If you look at the top 10 skills we just reviewed before, look at these top 10 skills. 5 skills are related to problem solving. 2 skills are related to self-management. 1 skill is related to leadership, working with people. Only 2 skills are related to technology. Technology use, monitoring and control, and technology design and programming. These are hard skills. You can go through some educational videos or books or some literature, or someone could guide you, you would learn it. But other skills you could learn, it will take some time. Now, here is the problem, or here is the trap for many people. When they look at the soft skills like problem solving, like analytical thinking, they think, this is easy, I have been doing it. I've been solving problems all of my life. What's the big deal? I can do that. And they don't feel that they need to really take any other training. Now, realize that if you fix the water hose in your household, that's a problem solving, but that's a very different problem than solving a customer problem at business, right? Both can be categorized as problem solving, and you know what problem solving is. Maybe the principles are also the same, but fixing a water hose at home and fixing a problem with the customers requires very different level of skills. You could analyze the behavior of your 6-year-old child, but analyzing the behavior of your boss or your CEO is altogether a different job, right? Different level of skills are required. So nature of the two places is very, very different. In order to solve critical problems at workplace or have high level of emotional intelligence, you need to learn a lot. You need to practice a lot. When you continue to practice problem solving at work or critical thinking at work or emotional intelligence at work, you started to develop those skills. So don't assume that you already know it. You know the principles, you know the nature, but you have to learn a lot. These skills are very important, by the way, very critical. If you don't develop them, you will be missing a lot of opportunities. How do you apply them? Let me explain that. So these are the technological skills or technologies which are being implemented. So we looked at the soft skills, and these are the hard skills. Both are very important. Both we need to work in combination. Now, as I said, that hard skills are easier to learn because we use our left brain. Left brain is very logical, very rational, analytical, and we can work very well with our left brain. Right brain we use for the habits and emotions. And right brain is not easy to be controlled. Right brain is moody. Right brain is subjective. Right brain is not logical. That is what we need to develop habits. Passion, engagement, commitment, these are the leadership habits. Leadership habits take longer. Right brain needs more time. Right brain needs more practice. Right brain needs more consistency. So think of a very common example. You decide to go to gym, right? It's very logical. Anybody suggests you to be more fit, and they suggest you gym, you agree. This is the right thing to do. It's logical, right? You very quickly learn that logic. When it comes to actually going to the gym, now it's a right brain task, which is not easy. Right brain is not logical. Right brain makes all the excuses. Today is raining, I'll start from tomorrow. Or maybe I'm already dieting. Maybe I could delay for 2 more weeks. All type of reasoning or excuses. That's right brain. So in order to develop the soft skills, we need to use right brain, which is not easy, by the way. Especially our learning capacity, capability slowed down in the later part of the life. So that's the main challenges. Let me give you an example. So I'm sure many of you or all of you are familiar with the Mecca CFO Academy, which I lead here. And this is a program curriculum for the Strategic CFO Program 2021. Now, a Strategic CFO Program is our most successful leadership program. We are running it since 2014, and close to 300 senior level professionals, CFOs, directors, controllers have completed it. Now, I have been leading this program myself, and I have been continuously changing it and improving the format based on my learning and based on my observation and results we are creating. So look at the different modules here. So this is a combination of business strategy, executive leadership, and digital transformation technology. So 3 modules. We originally started this program when we were only covering leadership. And after a while, we included strategy. And from the last year, we included technology into it. So what do we cover in a strategy? Is basically strategic model, business models, strategic mapping, blue ocean strategy, value chain analysis, balance scorecard, etc., right? That's one set of modules, about 12 topics. Then we have technology modules, which includes same technologies which you just observe in the future of job reports. Big data analytics, hyper automation, artificial intelligence, blockchain, Internet of Things, distributed clouds, VR, AR, XR, 5G, cybersecurity, 3D printing, etc. And then we have leadership soft skills, setting up your inner game, peak performance, personal branding, emotional intelligence, networking, presentation skills, communication, etc., etc. Now, these 3 modules are not standalone, because the purpose of this program is to prepare you for C-level jobs, CFO or C-suite jobs. At that level, you need to address complex decisions making. You need to solve critical problems. You need to have a deep level of analytical. Well, how do you do it? For example, take the current situation. In any business currently, investment in the technology is being evaluated, right? If you're a CFO, you have a very important decision made about a capital investment in certain technology. How could you make that decision if you don't have a good insight into the technologies? What technology could do that business, positive or unfavorable? And then what is the future of business based on that technology? So strategy and technology are combined now. You cannot do one without the other. You have to have that level of insight, having a knowledge of technologies and having a good knowledge of strategy, right? So that's the combination of the 2 expertise, 2 business level knowledge you create. I would say these are hard skills. But then you need soft skills leadership modules to implement that. Because if you have reached to a conclusion that this technology has to be implemented, you need to convince your CEO. You need to work with a lot of other partners. You need to have the good communication, influence, and emotional intelligence. That is how it works in the leadership. Now, could you learn it? Of course, you could learn it. But you cannot learn by going to a 2-day class. You need to practice it. That is what people do in this program. This program is not 5 days or 10 days or 2 weeks or 3. This program is now year-long, 1 year, 12 months long. We take time. Every week, we have 2-hour session. Every week for 50 weeks. That is how we digest all this stuff. And then we have peer groups. So peer group from different companies at different level, they work together every week. And they exchange ideas, they discuss case studies, they work with one another on their leadership skills like communication, influence, emotional intelligence, etc. That's a model you need to achieve. To upskill and reskill, that's what you need. So going back to the soft skills mentioned by the report and the technologies mentioned by the report, you need to take both of them. Some people make mistake that they only look at technology. I need to learn blockchain. I need to learn cloud computing. And problem solving, critical skills, analytical thinking, I already know. Big mistake. You need to combine the two. If you don't combine the two, you would not be able to take those level at a level where it is required. So I just wanted to show you this curriculum model of this program. By the way, we are starting this program in January. This will be the 10th batch, by the way. 10th batch. 9th batch is completing now, and 10th batch is starting from the 9th of January. But that is what this model has not been created in one day. We have been experimenting with this learning model for 5 years. And you talk to anyone who has completed this program, they will tell you how much they have learned in 12 months. And it doesn't end because the community continue to work. The peer groups continue to work together as long as they want. Okay, so based on this same curriculum I showed you, let's look at the practically how does it work. So the diagram you're looking at, let's look from the bottom and assume that your goal is really become a C-level executive, CFO or C-suite executive. You have to have some basic business knowledge, and business knowledge, not what a lot of people have, but deep knowledge. So you have a strategic insight. Your base is strategy modules, and then you learn technology modules, your digital know-how. These two modules make your business foundation with the knowledge and understanding of the business. Because as I said, technology and strategy cannot be separated. So these are one. With this knowledge, what you do, you work on your leadership habits, leadership modules, communication, influence, emotional intelligence, persuasion, etc. And how do you practice it? You work with your peer groups. So with peer groups, you are basically practicing leadership and also using the ideas from technology and strategy. So you are prepared, you are well prepared actually with the 3 modules to really jump start into your business problem arena. And when you go to the business, it's basically your communication skills through which you execute. So you have good ideas, good knowledge, good understanding of the business. You have leadership approach, you have practiced it with your peers, you are ready to offer solutions, and with your communication, because that is the main tool we use to influence the business, you use your communication and you do your job as a CFO or a strategic CFO. So that's the framework basically. How does it work in reality? As you can see that you cannot just jump right into it. You have to take some steps, step by step, to reach to this level. As I said earlier, it's mainly your inner game, really, your mindset, which drives your result. Your results are a result or consequence of your actions. So if your result is really you want to become a C-level executive in a good company, progressive career, good salary package, regular promotion, management recognition, recruiters keep calling you all the time, that's your result. But that result only happens when you make some actions. What are your actions? Working above and beyond the call of duty, collaborative, a networker, your personal brand, confidently speaking, strategic thinking, driving results, meet deadlines, friendly personality. These are your actions. And your actions come from your mindset. What are your work ethics? Do you see your job as a job or as a career or as a calling? Whether you have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Do you have a fire and belly to really make progress, do something extraordinary for the business? How's your work-life balance? What are your beliefs, values, and life purpose? That's the framework you use to create a mindset that make it very easier to take actions and ultimately create your results. How to relaunch your career? I suggest that you carry out a detailed personal SWOT analysis. Personal SWOT analysis is very simple. Just identify your strengths, your weaknesses, what opportunities are available, and what are the threats. After making this assessment, identify your skill gaps and work out a development plan based on your career goals, whatever it is, where you are, where you want to be, and identify gaps and make a development plan. And based on the development plan, develop your career strategy. And part of the career strategy is also developing your personal brand. And don't underestimate, this would be very challenging if you do it alone. Try to work with a peer group, your network, your friends. They will give you a lot of energy, they will keep it going. peer accountability, peer support, peer pressure, whatever you call it, work fundamentally very effectively in your leadership development. Your market worth, how do you measure that or assess that? I call it a gold coin set, which means that just assume that you don't have a job title, you don't have any role, you don't have any experience, you don't have any degree certificates, you don't have any previous experience, and you go to the market and based your intrinsic capability, whatever you could do, what is your value, right? What is your value? So when you discard all of titles and degrees and certification and experience, you still have your knowledge with you. You still have your ability to execute that knowledge. So two things. Knowledge is one thing, execution is another thing. Knowledge is all the knowledge of all the technologies. Execution is your leadership skills. Both goes together. You cannot work with one without the other. So your knowledge and your ability to execute and your perceived image or value by others, that really make you a gold coin. Your career strategy, in a nutshell, is like this. So your core expertise is your core knowledge. Currently, it could be your financial knowledge, treasury knowledge, whatever, but that is your core knowledge. So for a C-level position, your core expertise is your strategy and technology knowledge. Your ability to execute is your soft skills, your leadership skills. On the right side, your personal brand help you to deal with other people easily. Your external image, very important. All these three things drive the career opportunities for you. So you can take that framework and input more details, and that becomes your career strategy. Your ability to execute knowledge. So again, as I said earlier, very important to understand the difference between the knowledge and its execution. Technology are knowledge, leadership is execution. Both goes together. Your soft skills, like your emotional intelligence, communication, team collaboration, innovation, creativity, service orientation, negotiation, are all part of the knowledge execution. And you need to practice these skills, not by reading books, but by working with your peer group. And adaptability, of course. So your career going forward is always keep big perspective of life vision. When you start with your SWOT analysis, try to take a shot on the overall life, where you are, where you want to be. Big perspective, big vision. And then take the learning as a lifelong process. You don't need to go to the 2 days, 5 days training. Just make it a habit, learn something. As I said, we don't have any 2 days, 5 days training and make a CFO Academy. It becomes a habit when we have a year-long training or 6-month-long training. It doesn't impact or involve with your work. You just spend 2 hours on your weekend, and that is how you keep learning and socializing as well. Keep increasing your intrinsic value. Become a gold coin. Learn things as much as you could. Develop and increase your ability to create value for people around you. And create a personal brand which become your competitive advantage. And from a financial point of view, we are in the times now that relying on one income is very, very risky. Do something else. Side business, side hustle, or provide some consulting, coaching, but multiple income is really the scenario. And be ready that if you lose job, finding job is not one time, one lifetime skill. You have to learn and prepare to do it again and again. And develop a mindset of solving problems. Wherever you go, try to solve problems. Don't look for opportunities, look for problems. And if you could solve it, it will bring the more opportunity for you. So I guess that's all I have for today's session. I would also like to introduce you. I mentioned about the strategic CFO program. And as I said that we are launching it from the 9th of January, the 10th batch. I just want to take this opportunity to explain you briefly what this process. So I think you already got an idea. According to the feedback from our alumni, this is coming better than an executive MBA at a very cheap price. So this is most comprehensive strategy and leadership program for finance professional. And if you really want to reach to a CFO level or C level, that's it. That's a program. Now this program, as I said, it's 10th batch. Every year we change it. So this year it was Strategic CFO Program 2020. Now it's 2021 with more improvement. Okay, so the first question is this a worldwide disruption? And how is Africa affected? Yes, it is a worldwide disruption. In USA, for example, we have lost close to 40 million jobs so far, and every place has lost jobs. So I think it's a worldwide, and definitely Africa is also impacted. Is 2025 not very ambitious for this changes? 2025 is 5 years, and with the pace of change we are experiencing, 5 years is a pretty long period of time. So it's not that, I mean, in 5 years anything could happen. So I think it's not ambitious, or I don't know what you mean by ambitious. Short period. It's reasonable to make some forecast, to see some vision. I think it's a reasonable period of time to make certain estimate. But of course, this is about future, and one could be completely wrong. The earlier reports of the same World Economic Forum for Future of Jobs always have different numbers based on the new reality. So we don't know this is the best estimate they could provide. What is your message for the headhunters? I think they are going to struggle themselves. There are not many jobs going to be the market. Only the top level, top tier, high profile recruiters who work with the top 10 recruiting firms, because the many companies, many businesses who are trying to bring very highly talented people, especially for the replacement position, those have to be worked very confidentially. And to do it confidentially, usually they go with the search firms. So those search firms may still have a lot of work. At the lower level, I don't know. Recruiters could do much than what you could do for yourself. World Economic Forum report is based on whole world data or just US and Europe? No, it's whole world and pretty comprehensive actually. They have covered 16 industries and 25 key countries from every region. So I think it's a very well represented report, and they have done a lot of good quality work. So it's very detailed, 164 pages. I encourage everyone to just download it. It's freely available on internet. Download it and try to go through it on your own. How we can assess skill gap? Yeah, as I suggested, start with a SWOT analysis and then try to see what is in demand in the market based on this report. All the skills, which are basically, they say they would be in top demand 2025. See today where you are. And if you are nowhere close, then that's the skill gap. Now, as I said, that not everyone would really do that, but you don't need to really wait for anyone else to really tell you to upgrade or upskill yourself. 90% professionals would not do anything. That becomes your opportunity. If you are 5% or 10%, do something now, and that would become your opportunity to differentiate yourselves from the other masses. Headhunters are not in a very powerful position anymore. I mean, they look very powerful, headhunter or recruiter. There are not many jobs. Companies are not hiring. What they could do? Except for the search firms executives who have some high-level hidden jobs. But generally speaking, the way recruiter works, yeah, they would be working for the new talent. So if you're talking about the technology skills, there is high demand. And that demand would not be fulfilled by the existing workforce. So they would be looking for those roles. And the easier way for you guys is to develop those skills which are in demand. It's not about finding a job or keeping a job. It's about developing the skills. As fast as you can develop those skills which are going to be in demand, you would be well employed. That's the key. And it's, I think, obvious, very simple. Stress management can only be solved through a habit that is reinforced by right side brain. Yeah, true, to a great extent. Although it's technically it's not possible to work with only one brain. Like there is always a combination of left and right. Sometimes you are more left brain, sometimes you are more right brain, but some combination is always there. So stress management, yes, you're right, is more like you could control from the right brain. For survival in the current situation, what is the technique to find out in blue ocean jobs. I think that is what I was explaining. Skills, up skills, reskills as fast as you can. So if you are employed, good. I hope you will remain employed, but at the same time, as fast as you could, try to upgrade yourself from a talent and skill point of view. That is the only way. And if you are employed, then try to make it relevant to your employer. Look what problem they are trying to solve and develop those skills and solve their problem, or at least let them know that you can handle those problems. Because employer would never let anybody go who is creating value. Usually when these mass level of layoffs happen, usually it is said that there is no work and jobs are eliminated. But believe me, in most cases, they first pick the people who are not contributing value. And they make some adjustment with the people who create value and they don't lose jobs. Is coding skills necessary now for finance professional? No, if you want to become a developer, for example, you said that you want, and there are also good paying jobs. You said that I want to become a blockchain developer, which are in shortage, by the way. You need to learn coding. Or if you want to really become a machine language expert, you need to learn coding. But my communication, my target here are the people like you who want to become CFOs, who want to become C-level executives. That is where my message is tuned and aligned. Data scientist is also a very lucrative field, but you need to change your career. And which looks more and more feasible nowadays. Based on what we are seeing for the accounting profession, I think if you could afford, if you have the energies and the stamina and the capacity and the capability, you could decide to move into the data scientist field. You could do it. But that's a major change in your career. So if you make that level of decision, of course, you need to learn coding.